Good evening, everyone. Lawmakers are talking in Washington, and on Wall Street, stocks are rallying. More strong gains in the markets today on renewed signs of optimism that Congress and the White House are working on a compromise deal to extend the nation's borrowing limit and to begin negotiating a resolution to reopen the government and get furloughed workers back on the job. To be clear, though, there is no deal yet, and large parts of the government are still shut down. But Democrats and Republicans are at least talking for a second consecutive day, giving the markets hope that a solution is closer at hand. Eamon Javers joins us now from Washington with the latest. So, Eamon, how close do you think we are to some kind of a deal, maybe by Monday?
Well, Monday might be a good target day to start looking at here. And there's a lot of movement here in Washington, but it's not exactly clear where we're going. We began the day with Senate Republicans going to the White House to meet with President Barack Obama, including Ted Cruz, the president's chief antagonist in all this. He was in that meeting today. We didn't get a readout from the White House on what happened inside that meeting. Later in the day, we know that the president called the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, for conversation. We didn't get a readout on that one either. And then we saw that throughout the day, the White House continued to postpone its typical daily press briefing hour after hour after hour. We finally got that briefing late in the day, and the White House didn't say all that much either. That's generally a good sign. When they're actually negotiating, they don't say a lot. When it's total stalemate, that's when they come out to the microphones and denounce each other. We did not see that today, so maybe an encouraging dynamic here in Washington.
You just answered my question. I was going to ask you whether we should infer anything from the fact that it was a pretty silent day on Washington. What would be the timeline of a deal or a framework for a deal over the next few days? What could we expect?
We know that the House of Representatives is coming in tomorrow. They'll be here at 9 a.m. Congressmen hate to work weekends, so they're going to want to work this one as quickly as possible. And, of course, we know the deadline is Thursday next week. That's the day that Treasury has said that it's going to run out of money and we're going to hit the debt ceiling limit. So presumably some point between Monday and Thursday is the sweet spot for getting a deal done here if they're going to get one. And it looks like, all the dynamic is that they are actually talking to one another, although the White House is bending over backwards to avoid saying that they're negotiating because, of course, the president had promised he wasn't going to negotiate. But nonetheless, he was in a room with Republicans talking about something today. Whether it was a negotiation or not, that's up to you to decide.
Eamon, what do you think about the impact of these Wall Street rallies are having on the negotiations? We've had two back-to-back days of triple-digit gains on the Dow. To what extent is that giving them the feeling that they've got to come up with a deal? Because it's going to look bad if on Monday and Tuesday we have big sell-offs.
Yeah, I had a chance to ask a United States senator about that yesterday as we saw that mega rally on Wall Street. And he said that the senators are watching that as they, go through their deliberations. But, it might not be enough to change the minds of those people who are pretty much set on a course of action. So they're paying attention. They're feeling the push from Wall Street. But it might not be enough to make them change their minds if they already feel very strongly. These are very core political values that are being debated right here.
All right, Eamon Javers, just north of the Capitol for us tonight. Have a great weekend.